I can't quite make up my mind about how I feel about Jungle to Jungle. There are aspects of this that I found really uncomfortable to watch. And there were certain parts of it that I just thought that doesn't sit right with me as an audience member, as a viewer. But for the most part, I kind of enjoyed the time I spent watching it, but I wouldn't watch it again. This was released in 1997, directed by John Pasquin, and stars Tim Allen, Martin Short, and JoBeth Williams, and also Sam Huntington. And this, I'll read the description from my IMDb because it's quite a peculiar narrative. And this says, a man learns he has a 13-year-old son who was raised in the jungle and brings the boy to New York City, turning his life upside down in the process. So he has this son because his previous partner went to live in the jungle, as it were, and this child was raised there, and obviously he has this more wild approach to life, killing rodents, eating them, not really wearing proper clothes, or I guess not really wearing Western clothes. So bringing him into New York City is the antithesis of everything that he knows. And I thought that sounded really interesting because I love films where somebody witnesses Western consumerist society for the first time. Usually it's done through time travel, but this works as well. And there were certain things that were said or done that I thought were interesting. I think the son, Mimi-Siku, I think some of his observations were really fascinating, and it makes, through his eyes, it makes us think that, do we need this extravagance for city living? We are a nation or a world of consumerists, and our civilization would not exist did we not consume. And I like that contrast, it works. But I didn't like Mimi-Siku as a character. I didn't think he was a particularly enjoyable character. I didn't think he was very engaging. I didn't really like his attitude. And I don't just mean because he had different opinions to those in New York City. There were just certain approaches, certain things he said. I just thought, I don't like you. If I met you, you'd really get on my nerves. Nothing against the acting. I think he's exceptionally well acted. Obviously, Tim Allen and Martin Short do great jobs as well. And JoBeth Williams I particularly liked as Patricia. But I think the thing that makes it uncomfortable is this 13-year-old boy who's trying to explore New York City for the first time, and he has some really awkward actions and behaviours, and it's just really uncomfortable to watch. And maybe that's what it would be like. I don't know how accurate his behaviours would be. If anybody knows of this kind of thing that's happened in real life, by all means let me know if this is how it played out. But I just feel like there were certain things that felt unrealistic and unbelievable and over the top. And maybe I'm looking too much into it. But for me, there were just aspects that were a bit uncomfortable. But, it was well acted, well directed, no issues with any of the editing, any of the music, the soundtrack, absolutely fine. Lighting was fine. Some of the dialogue was a bit corny, but it was 1997, so I'll give it a pass. It's not a great film. It's got 5.2 out of 10 on IMDb, Metascore of 42. Not the best film in the world, without question, but is it worth watching? If you're interested in it and you think it might be a film you like, by all means give it a watch, but I will not say that it's one of those films you have to see before you die. It's a pretty average film.